subscribe and hit the bell notification icon to keep up to date with the Flat Earth debate. If you'd like to support this channel, there is a super chat that runs alongside each of these shows while they are live. There's also a PayPal, Patreon and crypto link in the info box below the video. Most importantly, if you'd like to join the discussion, simply mute the page you are currently watching, then click the link in the info box below this video to join the panel and express your views on the nature of Earth. If you do join, please don't swear. If you do, you'll be ejected, and if you are, please don't try to rejoin the stream using stock accounts. You'll be warmly welcome back with the Flat Earth debate. If you'd like to support this channel, then PayPal, Patreon, PayPal, Patreon, PayPal, Patreon, PayPal, Patreon, and crypto link in the info box. PayPal, Patreon, and crypto link in the info box. PayPal, Patreon, and crypto link in the info box. PayPal, Patreon, and crypto link in the info box below the video. Most importantly, if you'd like to join the discussion, simply mute the PayPal, Patreon, and crypto link in the info box below the video. PayPal, Patreon, and crypto link in the info box below the video. PayPal, Patreon, and crypto link in the info box below the video. Most importantly, if you'd like to join PayPal, Patreon, and crypto link, PayPal, Patreon, and crypto link in the info.
Oh my God, why do you watch this show? Why do you let him propagandize you? Please, give me an answer. All right. I gotta stop being lazy. And I've got to freaking reinstall Windows because I have a crash. I know what's doing it. Let's get this going. We were going through the last page, the last points of Mr. Atheist's response letter. He finally responded in the entire Non Sequitur show. And I'd like to do a little bit of a different thing here. Because in the video before this, of course, I'd started discussing the issue. But instead of just going right into it, of course my screen's messed up. Instead of going right into it, technical issues during live shows, aren't they wonderful? Fixed, and I'm not invisible. Yay. Instead of going right into this show, definitely, dude, I don't know why you think, it's almost like, wouldn't you think the way he's doing this, the way he's responded to all of this, it's like he wants us to criticize him because, I don't know, he thinks it'll get him subscribers or it's like free publicity. But bro, don't think you're going to call me a troll. Don't think you're going to call my audience trolls. Don't think you're going to call Steve a damn troll after what happened. He doesn't, in his skeptical nature and skeptical thought process, I don't know how this high IQ skeptic doesn't say to himself, you know, after having this kind of crime perpetuated against him, 2 years of wages being stolen from the man, I don't know how he doesn't expect criticism towards Kyle or anyone that supported him, enabled him, or advertised the guy while Kyle was doing this. I don't even want to go back into it. All I want to do now is get back into where we left off because I will freaking talk for 10 minutes and just it'll be boring, so I'm not going to do it. But we're going to go back in and pull up his letter. Oh, man, we're going to grab his letter. I just got to now pull it back up since we crashed, so pardon me, y'all. And normally when I do these live shows, they're all ready for you. Every part of them has been outlined, and we are 100% ready to give you an excellent show, and we planned it all. And of course, when there's a piece of information like this going on, you have to understand I can't prep for this because it's breaking news, so I'm sorry about that. But let's get into it because I have to be able to respond to this. Of course he's talking to me. You're going to say, how do you know he's even talking about you, UNIRock? You got a big head if you think he's talking to you with your 30-some thousand subs on your main channel and only 14,000 over on your live channel. He's not talking about you. Yeah, he's definitely talking about me because all I did was respond to the situation and the guy blocked me. So I jumped over to look at Godless Engineer, who I was not blocked from yesterday, and the guy blocked, and Godless Engineer blocked me. So this makes me gives me the tiniest little clue that they both talk to each other. They both decided that to do the best damage control for their audience, they'd put out statements on Twitter and avoid YouTube. And they both decided that they would go block me. That I don't even think I responded to Godless Engineer on Twitter. I'm pretty sure I only responded to Ms. Engineer, who did not block me. So you can deduce whatever you want to deduce from that. I personally think that, yes, he blocked me because him and Godless Engineer had a little bit of a talk. They both released their statements right around the same time. So I'm either crazy or they talked to each other and came up with this little plan of theirs. Am I crazy, y'all? Am I just a weirdo? Is that it? Because I'm pretty freaking weird. I'm not going to deny it. And before we get started, in the last video, today I was on Jose JG Gonzalez. I hope I said his name right. JG Jose Gonzalez's channel, one or the other. And talked to a whole bunch of people. And I was tickled purple to be able to talk to Blue Marble Science and Bob the Science Guy, two of my favorite creators on YouTube. And I sat around all morning and hung out with them, and it was just awesome. So hopefully, I hope Bob and Big Blue both know that they are always invited on this show. And if they want to join my Discord, I'd love for them to. I hope they use Discord because that's how I link up with other creators and how we make videos together. And they're welcome to help me do a video, write a video with me, whatever. Come on the live show. They can just message me and we'll schedule you guys in. It'd be fun. Back to what we were doing. We had just got to the part where Mr. Atheist says that Steve did have this horrible crime perpetuated against him. But in Mr. Atheist's mind, Steve should have just sat there and shut his mouth and not asked for any help. He shouldn't have cared at all. He should have just ignored everything. Because since Steve responded, even though when Steve responded, he specifically said he wants no one to harass anyone, and he is not cool with that kind of behavior, Mr. Atheist says that doesn't matter. Steve's a troll. Steve turned Mr. Atheist into a victim worse than Kyle turned Steve into a victim by stealing his pay for 2 years. The dumbest logic coming from a self-described high IQ skeptic atheist. Isn't it weird? We're starting to find out that the people that use the word skeptic the most and call themselves the highest of the skeptics and put themselves on a pedestal like GE and Mr. Atheist have done here, we typically find out that they're not skeptical by any means whatsoever, and it's all a big fake act. Typically what you find out, they're just as... Look, so here's the tier list. We've got a tier list going. At the bottom of the tier list, you've got the flat earthers like Nathan Oakley who are just in it for the money. One up from them at the very bottom of the tier list is Red Pill Philosophy, Mr. Atheist, and Godless Engineer. They're all on the same level, in my opinion, and I know there are tens of thousands of people who agree with that statement. Now, if I recall, where were we? We were somewhere... Okay, fine. Fine, Busy. Busy's going to play a song for you while I read Mr. Atheist's letter as Mr. Atheist. Of course, I will interject as me. Here we go. Thanks for being here. Let's get started. I'm not going to do any more of an intro. That's all you get. Here we go. All right, Busy. Give me the Mr. Atheist music. Busy wrote this song specifically for Mr. Atheist. Yes, I said specifically, Busy. I said specifically. Go back and listen to the replay, you dick. Here we go. Steve was effed over. That I will admit. I also think Steve is a toxic narcissist who now commands an army of trolls who will undoubtedly take up the mantle on his statement and will continue to invade my and other social media accounts because my admission of being wrong, but not wrongdoing and certainly not an apology toward him, will not suffice. And they will do the only thing they know how to. Harass me. Mr. Atheist. Blah, 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 blah. More cowbell, busy. This is, pause it, busy. This is such a powerful statement. I will say the last sentence again in Mr. Atheist's voice. Here we go. I also think Steve is a toxic narcissist who now commands an army of trolls who will undoubtedly take up a mantle on his statement and will continue to invade mine and other social media accounts because my admission of being wrong but not wrongdoing and certainly not an apology towards him will not suffice, and they will do the only thing they know how to: harass. They're trolls, they're harassers, they suck. Mr. Atheist 2019. Nice try, Mr. Atheist. You know, you should have probably just wrote it a little more been a little more victim-y here. If you really want this to have the effect you're going for, should have been a lot more victim-y. Should have been a lot more like, oh, poor me. Oh, poor Mr. Atheist. Poor Mr. Atheist. Okay, have I trolled him enough? Have I? Please tell me in the chat. Have I trolled him enough? I haven't? Well, you're not getting any more right now. Let's continue. Oh, by the way, I know he's watching. How you doing, buddy? Maybe you could take this as, instead of taking it as if this is some horrible thing, these words are hurting you. These words are going to break your bones and put you in the hospital. You're going to have to go have a doctor put a cast on due to the injury that my words are causing you as a toxic harasser. Maybe instead of taking it that way, you could take it as it is, a type of criticism that you should have listened to, and you wouldn't have been in this mess. At any time up until now, you could have heard my criticism, and if you want to go watch it, you can, because you'll be like, oh shit, he's right. Go watch my criticism and see if I was trolling you or Kyle. Go see if I did not try to give Kyle good advice. Go see if I didn't try to, make every excuse I could in the beginning for Kyle. For no good reason, because I should have never did it now. Because Kyle should be standing up right now and telling you to apologize if he was a good person in any way. He should be standing up and saying, Steve isn't a troll. Steve told people not to harass us. Mr. Atheist, this is a bad response. But he won't, of course. And I have a feeling that once I get to Godless Engineer's statement, I have a feeling it's going to be just like this. Because I think they talk to each other to write these and form these. But, we get it. What do you expect from a group of people who, in my opinion, got together and plotted this entire damn thing to kick Steve off the channel, to take over the channel, so that they could then profit from the channel as much as they wanted and change it in whatever direction that they could? What do you expect when they get called out and busted for what they were doing? Kyle, you got busted. You got busted when you walked into that studio and said what you said, not realizing you were in a studio and being recorded. Mr. Atheist, you supporting Kyle and being unwilling to call him out while you're calling out President Trump and while you're calling out all these other people that you call out shows that, yes, you were doing something wrong through this. And I'm sorry, that's my opinion. You can call me a troll, a harasser. You can call me a far-right bad guy if you want. I can't say certain words while I'm live. You know what word I would say. You can call me whatever you want. It's not going to change the fact that I'm right. So keep trying. To my audience and all my followers and subscribers, I'm certain most of you are aware of how much I cared about Kyle, and you must know how betrayed and heartbroken I am right now. Oh, cry me a freaking river, Mr. Atheist, you baby. You're not the victim, Mr. Atheist. This is the problem with the victimhood mentality that is being rewarded nowadays. This is the problem. Every single time there's a real victim out there. By the way, it's Steve. These people that get involved and enable the person, the criminal, the person doing the crime, the people that enable him get to cry freaking victim, lie their asses off in response letters. That's why it's on Twitter and it's not on his damn YouTube channel. And then they get to build this echo chamber narrative that they have at least a portion of their subscribers defend and whine and cry about. And we're going to go look at and see who responded and who said what to him. And we'll see how many people took his side with this letter and how many people didn't in just a minute. We'll go look for that evil troll force. I wonder if we're going to find a bunch of really far-right, crazy Nazi trolls, or if we're just going to find viewers that are really angry that this guy is such a fraud and a liar. And by the way, yes, Mr. Atheist, in my opinion, so you can't sue me, I'm telling you it's my opinion, because you probably would, wouldn't you? You're just as much of a fraud as Kyle is. Except that I don't think I ever actually knew who Kyle was. Sorry, I'm trying to be Mr. Atheist through this. You know what? Here, I forgot something. Let me read this paragraph one more time. To my audience of followers and subscribers, I'm certain most of you are aware of how much I cared about Kyle. Come on, Busy. Aww. And you must know how betrayed and heartbroken I am right now. Aww. It would not be wrong to say that I loved Kyle. Aww. Except that I don't think I ever actually knew who Kyle was. At one time, this was, to a lesser extent, true of Steve, too. Aww. Steve and Kyle were some of the earliest people to take a chance on me, and that meant the world to me. Aww. Wonder how many subscribers they got you, big guy. Wonder if they had anything to do with your video that went viral that got you all of your subscriber base and put you where you are. And then, by proxy, I wonder how much Steve was responsible for that. Just asking. Just saying. The loss of both of them as friends has been hard on me. Aww. And in both cases, I made the decision to sever the friendship when they passed what I could handle. Sorry, I can't even handle my own stupidity sometimes. So, the request I have for you is this. I would like this to be the only statement I make on the matter. Steve won, and that's what happened, and I can accept that. The sheer fact that you wrote that statement, Steve won, and that's what happened, and I can accept that. You know how many things are wrong with you putting that in this response? Because it shows that you didn't want to accept that Steve could win. For no logical reason whatsoever. All bias. All bias. All assumption. All wrong. For whatever reason. Because you just didn't like the guy. Because he does not... You know why you don't like Steve? You know why Kyle didn't like Steve? Well, let me tell you. Because when Kyle started to buddy up to SJWs like you and Godless Engineer and Casey, he realized... That's the audience I want. That's what I want to do. And so Steve, though, on the other hand, is too logical. He will go through the actual logic behind the scenario. Like when Casey, Godless Engineer, or maybe her name's not Casey, but Godless Engineer's wife, when she wanted everyone, she demanded that everybody call her an engineer, even though she wasn't an engineer. Steve's the type of guy to stop and say, are you an engineer or not? And when she said, no, I'm not really an engineer, Steve said, I'm not going to call you an engineer. And that's not what propelled all of it, but that's a part of it, and it's that attitude that Steve has. But that's why the audience loves Steve. You get me? Kyle, you're not understanding this. Most of the people who act like Mr. Atheist and who push those type of topics are only popular due to either the sheer luck of it. If you go look, there's a million people doing that, just like there's a million people doing anything. I don't know how you could think you could break your way into that sphere without actually doing the work of building the audience, making the videos, but, you know, you were wrong, dude. The saddest part is, by buddying up to these people and then admiring them so much and saying, I got to take the channel there, knowing that Steve wouldn't go, you completely screwed everything over. You burnt it all to the ground. You threw away a good thing for nothing. For nothing in the end. Didn't even have to be this way. It's sad. So the request I have, I'd like this to be the only statement I make. Oh, well, we ended, where do we end at? Steve won, and that's what happened. I can accept that. I don't think you can accept that. I think that's what this is all about. You can't accept that the video came out and it proved what Kyle really was. And you know what? I know there's no way to prove this, and I know Mr. Atheist would never be honest enough for us to be able to prove it. But I 100% believe that Mr. Atheist, Kyle, and Godless Engineer all sat around and talked about getting rid of Steve. People are going to hate me for saying it. Well, I'm sorry. I'm only going to be honest with you. I do think so because of these things, like them having such a grudge against Steve for no reason when their entire persona that they put on is based around being skeptical, following evidence. There's no reason for them to hate Steve. There's no reason. There's no reason for them not to respect Steve's position. It's nutty. What's with the music, Busy? I didn't tell you to play this. It'll work. All right, if it'll work. I believe that he was legally in the right and was effed over by Kyle. I will ask you all now, allow me to move on, and I suggest that you do too. Well, we will move on, Mr. Atheist, after we respond and criticize the living hell out of you and Kyle for what you're doing right here. Again, stabbing Steve in the back for your own personal gain because you don't want to damage your brand. And for some reason, I don't know how you think even your own followers would read this and go along with it or care, but whatever, dude. It's your channel. Do what you want. There will be those who try to insist that this remain in my purview, but it will be a futile attempt, as what I have stated here now is the entirety of how I feel and what I think that I will ever be willing to share. Thanks all. I love most you. I think he meant I love most of you. Just to respond to that last statement here, what's your name? Mr. Atheist. Just so you know. What was that last part there? Busy, play that other song. I don't like this song. Futile attempt. No one's going to expect you to keep talking about it. Nobody wants you to keep talking about it. Nobody wanted you to inject yourself into this situation at all whatsoever. You decided to do it, and now you can't handle actually having skeptical people thoughtfully criticize you. And like I said in the last stream that got cut off, it completely exposes how useless your channel is. Because for somebody so biased, for somebody so illogical to don the mantle of a skeptic, move on. I do suggest you move on, but damn, I don't think it's going to work out that much for you. Just saying. So let's move on to Godless Engineer's little response. Now he blocked me, so you're going to have to give me a minute. I have to open it incognito, so let's do it. Okay, so when it comes to Godless Engineer, I'm not even going to give him the dignity of making fun of him. So let's go. Because now, Mr. Atheist, I almost said Team Atheist. Mr. Atheist, in my opinion, will take the fact that I made fun of him throughout reading it, and he'll use that as something. UNIRock's a troll, so it doesn't matter. But I'm not going to give GE the dignity of that. I'm not going to give him an easy out. So I'm going to be serious about reading this one. So this is Godless Engineer's statement. He finally... Now, I showed you on my stream yesterday the Godless Engineer was completely trashing Steve, completely defending Kyle until the community got behind Steve. And once the community did get behind Steve in order to perform the ultimate damage control, Godless Engineer decided that he would delete all of his tweets and demand that everybody leave him out of it. And this will be his first public response since he demanded for everybody to leave him out of it. Regarding Non Sequitur and Kyle, this is the final statement we will make on this issue. I have a feeling that GE didn't write this. In fact, I have a feeling that GE doesn't make a lot of the decisions that happen. From the beginning of this, we have both maintained that Kyle made mistakes and did some things wrong, and that Steve deserved to be paid for his work on Non Sequitur's show. Okay. No, you didn't. You maintained that Kyle did things wrong, but you never, ever maintained what the most horrible things that he did, the most severe things. You really played so much damage control for Kyle that it is sickening to see you write this. It's sickening. Because with Mr. Atheist, I don't have tweets that he put out railing against Steve. But for you guys, I do. Yes, you too. Godless Engineer and his wife. I've got these tweets. I showed them yesterday. You did rail against Steve, illogically and very rudely, honestly. Anyway. We believed our very dear friend. Why? Why? You don't believe any of the people that you criticize when they make a plea to you, or flat earthers. Why would you just believe Kyle out of the blue here? Really goes to show the bias that you guys have. Really goes to show that illogical thing going on here. Why did you believe Kyle and on some crazy illogical shit that he was spitting out of his mouth that made no sense and did not go along with reality or the Death of the Non Sequitur Show video? Because Kyle was allowing you on a channel that we were getting a lot of money and support from. Yeah, those flat earthers, they don't put you on big channels that get you a bunch of subs or channels that have a lot of attention. They don't. But Kyle did. Now we know why you believed him. Who was not only an online friend, but our family. Why? Why was he those things? I want to know. So he lived at your house. He lived near you guys, and you guys were with each other in real life? No. Again, you could consider him your family, but it's not accurate. He's the same as Steve was to you, the same as all the other people were, other than the fact that he had a big channel that he supported you with. Kyle performed our wedding, and finding out now that we've been betrayed and that the things he's been telling us for months are not true is hurtful. You knew the whole time. I said this about the situation. When the Death of the Non Sequitur came out, it was a recording of Kyle Curtis admitting to ripping off Steve McRae and kicking him off of a channel that Steve owned and stealing a year and a half worth of pay from him. When that video came out, I told you all that there were going to be people who flip-flopped, who asked to go silent, who dipped out and did damage control. Also, though, I told you that there would be people that would eventually do exactly this, which when they were forced to. And when Kyle didn't show up, didn't have a lawyer, and didn't go to court to defend everything he had been saying here, now they're forced to put out this statement, right? They knew the whole time. They had the video. They were tagged. We know now that Mr. Atheist and GE both read the stuff that happens on Twitter and in their comments because they complained about it constantly. Troll army this, troll army that. Well, then you saw the thousands of tweets and thousands of different things that went out sharing Kyle admitting to ripping off Steve. So if you knew that, why didn't you take his admission? Why didn't you look at Kyle's admission and say, holy shit, he's literally saying this to Steve? Why did you watch Kyle say this stuff to Steve and watch him kick him off the show and then literally in the next breath say, I don't know if it's a 50-50 agreement. I don't have a reason to defend Steve. It just goes to show if you hate somebody, if you don't like something, that's when you will rail against it. It has nothing to do with the logic behind it. It has to do with your emotions. It has to do with your feelings. Your feels are what dictates what you do here. As we've said since the beginning, this will be handled by the people it involved and through legal process, and it has been. What we did not and will not bow to, Steve and his mobs will. Well, it's not Steve's mob, it's the people that subscribe to you. The only mob that it's even possible for Steve to have are fans of the Non Sequitur show. Call them a mob, call them trolls, call them... By the way, any of you that watch Godless Engineer, if he ever does something and you criticize him for it, he's just going to say you're part of a mob, and he's just going to act exactly like this to you. Just test me on it if you don't believe me. Go criticize him and see if he doesn't do it. Because that's what he's going to do. This is what he does to handle criticism. We will not apologize to Steve for any of our actions because we haven't done anything to apologize for. Yes, you did, and I proved it yesterday. Yes, you did, Godless Engineer. And I guarantee you he didn't write this. I guarantee it was his wife. In this video, Steve won in court. I literally show what you did wrong. And I had a feeling this would happen. But on my screen, I think it's right around here. I'll go ahead and pull it up. This is all of Godless Engineer's tweets. Take a look here. In fact, let me just blow it up. So when you said at the bottom here, Kyle is honoring the deal that he would give him half the profit. Kyle has always wanted to give Steve his money. Steve wants it under the table, which is a crime, which would be a crime. It would be a felony, I think, wouldn't it? For that much money? Yeah, I would. And now that's not ever going to happen. The only proof that we saw was that Steve did not ask for it under the table. Under the table means he wasn't going to pay taxes with it, and he was going to default the taxes over to Kyle. That's never what happened. But this is not the only tweet. It's just the only tweet I pulled up yesterday. This is what you did, Godless Engineer. You're lying, dude. And if it's not you lying right here, you allowed your wife to lie in this statement. You do owe him an apology. You owe Steve, I just proved you owe him an apology for saying that he's a criminal, a felonious criminal. And that's why Kyle is the guy in the right, because Steve's a felonious criminal. That's what you guys put out. And it had an effect on the viewers, just like you wanted it to, because in last night's show, I also showed you where underneath Godless Engineer saying that, there are fans of his saying, I've always followed you and Mr. Atheist, and I've always known this about Steve. Because I follow you guys, I'm supporting you. Go. If you think I'm bullshitting, you need to watch the video from yesterday. So, what else did you do wrong? Then, once the brunt of the audience got behind Steve, and you realized that Kyle was not having any support, and that you were losing subscribers, Godless Engineer, and I have this on my channel too, then you decided that you would demand everybody leave you out of it, that you were being harassed about it. When you weren't being harassed, you invited the criticism by saying what you said about Steve being a criminal, and which is slanderous. It's wrong. You owe him a damn apology. Okay? Did I stress my point enough? I'm trying to think if there's anything else I could add in here around this stage. Because I'm the dude who doesn't give a shit. There's other people out in the community that won't criticize you, Godless Engineer, because they've done videos with you, or because they know that a lot of your subscribers are their subscribers and they don't want to offend them. I'm not naming anybody. I'm saying that that's a fact. There are people out there that won't criticize him. I'm not saying, look, you do what you want to do. It's good. I'm just saying I will criticize you. I might lose 10 subs for criticizing you right now, but I'm going to do it. You get me? Because you need to be criticized. This is what you and Mr. Atheist need to not get away from. Lying in these statements, bullshitting, trying to make yourselves look like the perfect people, make Steve look like an evil troll commander, and make it look like you're the victims when Steve is the damn victim the entire time. And, you know, I hate to say it, but some of the stuff that I've heard Mr. Atheist and GE and what's her name say about social justice issues, they kind of go along the same thing. They kind of go along the same way there. I won't go into it, though. I know, hey, I'm the low IQ crazy person, so... All we are guilty of is trusting our friend with the word sincerely at the bottom. With the word sincerely. So that's all you were guilty of? Not the other things I literally proved? So it's a lie. Gotcha. So here is the community's response. Now, we better see an entire army of trolls According to Mr. Atheist, Godless Engineer, and Caitlin, GE Caitlin, according to them, Steve is the commander of an army. I literally just read it to you in Mr. Atheist's statement. Steve is the commander of an army of trolls. These guys are the victims. Steve isn't the victim here for having his wages stolen for a year and a half. It is Godless Engineer and Mr. Atheist for being criticized by me and you and anyone else that decided to criticize. So let's see where. Now, I hope to God you guys aren't lying. I hope I'm not going to scroll through this and see absolutely no harassment, absolutely no trolling going on. Let's find out. So, Drag Not, don't feel bad. Some of us have trusted the ringleaders of the mob only to be betrayed and lied to similarly. That doesn't sound too trolly. Godless Engineer says, I'm really distraught over this entire thing. I don't give people my trust that easy. This hurt. Godless Engineer, one more time. I think Steve not getting paid for 2 years hurt exponentially more than you receiving criticism for your bad choices. Just saying. As opposed to unfounded accusations, those you quickly threw around, deleted, and now you are the victim? Face up for what you did. Don't deny and play the snowflake. You and your wife were a driving force in accusing people, thinking you had to gain. Now it's clear that you lost. Damn it, I would give this comment a heart and a share, but I can't because I'm not logged in, because GE, for any of those that just got here, blocked me after my video from yesterday where I showed his tweets that he deleted. That's right. If you show what he's deleting now, you become blockable, censorable, evil. Well, that's okay because I blocked you back, ding dong. You know, I kind of like using the word ding dong instead of cursing. I'm starting to find some really good words to replace the curse words because I can't curse online anymore. I really like ding dong. If you guys have any other insults that I've come up with or responses that replace the curse words that you like, let me know in the chat. I really like ding dong. What do you guys think? Ding dong, dum dum, ding dong, dum dum, like all of them combined together. This is some good stuff, y'all. I really enjoy this. I'm really not missing the curse words. Oh, yeah, back to what I was saying. You're a ding-dong, Godless Engineer. Yeah, ding-dong? Okay, it's got to be at the end of the sentence. It only works at the end of a sentence. Godless Engineer, you are a ding-dong, ding-dong. Okay, it works. So great point, but Business Intel INL, guess what? Godless Engineer and Mr. Atheist think that you are a harassment troll. You are a harassment troll. Hold on, I definitely have a sound effect for this. Busy, are you saying we don't have anything else other than that? It's just your favorite, huh? You do have others, it's just your favorite, huh? Oh shit, dude, I forgot. I've got the breaking newsroom now. Oh shit, bro. I think the breaking newsroom would really work for this. Okay. Hold up. I gotta have some fun with this. I've already complained enough. It's time to have some fun, so let's do it. Where is it? Here it is. Breaking news! Right now on UniNews, the only news show held together with duct tape and crowns. Pew, 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 pew. Godless Engineer is the victim. Welcome to UniNews, breaking news. Oh, God, that's really repetitious. Godless Engineer is the victim, and so is Mr. Atheist, and people like Business Intel INL are hardcore trolls attacking them, according to those ding-dongs. Let's keep reading. Bill Ludlow, excellent response. Now it would be nice if he apologized to those in the community who dragged him, or who he dragged into the whole mess, then lied about what transpired. This is about Kyle, correct? Yeah, that would be accurate to Kyle. No, Kyle didn't call people out and drag them into it. Hey, Bill Ludlow. Neither did Steve, but yes, actually, Kyle did. because Kyle committed the crime against Steve. Yeah, ding dong. Okay, back to the show. At least Steve didn't habitually lie live on camera to 20,000 plus people who were fans of Non-Sec as well as patrons, as well as his best friend, in an attempt to steal a property due to hurt feelings and who knows what else. At least we're not Kyle. That's very true. Got some hearts. Unlike some other people, I actually have empathy for this situation. I understand completely. Can I ask what happened to cause the apology? Did Kyle confess or something? Also, yeah, do not bend to Steve's minions. Well, I guarantee that this person is not one of the people Godless Engineer thinks is a troll. This is they're definitely defending Godless Engineer here. Who is this? Kyle lost the lawsuit by default. He never filed paperwork in the courts. Neither did his lawyer, who, if exist, failed his duties by allowing the time to expire. The courts ruled in favor of Steve because Kyle didn't respond in any legal way. Where's your response, Alanis Elizabeth Garcia? Where's your response? Where are you? Aren't you going to apologize here and say, oh, shit, I was wrong the whole time? My God, Kyle lied to me? Oh, you're not? Okay. Well, most likely you were just propagandized by Mr. Atheist and Godless Engineer, so I guess we can't blame you, right? I mean, personal responsibility isn't a thing online anymore. It's everybody else's fault, because everybody else is trolls if they criticize you for your dumb actions. BM Furball, Kyle lost the lawsuit by default. Oh, BM Furball's the one who updated. Okay. So many bowed to Kyle, but can't say, Steve, sorry we doubted you. That doesn't mean you have to be friends. We know Kyle was damn good at portraying himself as honest. So now take the high road. Realize that your bowing comment is misplaced. From Sheena, freaking Sheena, I love you. You are such a bastion of logic in such horrible times. Thank you, Sheena, for being you. Cajun Crustacean. So given that this is the final statement, I take it that an apology for the accusations you and the others have made is out of the question. Great point, Cajun Crustacean, but now you are a troll, according to Mr. Atheist and Godless Engineer. You troll. You're a troll, Cajun. Good job, miss. You're a really bad troll now, according to them. But you were complicit in the destruction of a channel with a larger community and the defrauding of the money they donated. You owe us an apology. Hindsight is 20/20, but clearly yours is not. Uh-oh. Uh-oh, there it is. We got another one. It's not true. It's not valid. It's not good logic, according to GE. It's a troll. We found another troll, guys. Oh, my God. Harassment, harassment. Do you not realize that most of the people wanting an apology is for you to apologize to the fans, not Steve? Okay, Steve hasn't got his money, but it was their money Kyle stole. You two facilitated that crime. Exactly, Sean David Hines. But guess what, Sean David Hines? Even though your logic is sound, and even though it's a great comment and it makes a lot of sense, you're one of Godless Engineer's trolls. He thinks you're a troll. You're harassment. You're harassing him. If you guys don't get my sarcasm, then you never will. Of course I'm being sarcastic. Then Hamish McBourbon and lying about Steve. Don't forget that thing you apparently don't need to apologize for. Oh my God, Hamish. Troll alert. Troll alert. Hamish is a troll. Hamish is a troll. So is UNIRock. Today I learned my wedding was performed by a fraud. Are you and Caitlin really married? He might have been lying about that too. That's a good point, El Zorro. But you're a troll. You're a troll. Harassment. This is kind of fun. So what you are saying is that you both were wrong but refused to apologize to Steve because other people publicly disagreed with you. Well, I know a block is coming, but disagreement is block-worthy apparently. So let me just say this. G-Man won. G-Man did win. Your logic is sound. Everything you said is excellent, but you're a troll. Harassment. Quit harassing Godless Engineer. He can't take it. He can't take criticism, Derek. Or no, who was that? He can't take criticism, Tag. Okay. Besides, you still need to apologize to the world for losing to Hovland. Okay, you are a troll, Derek. No, you're not, because it's true. I was wrong. Harassment. Oh, God, this is awesome. Garm says, this is just weak. If you don't take responsibility for your own actions, maybe you should pay more attention to the things you criticize. There is more than one kind of flurf. Well, Germ, you've just realized that GE is the same thing or is worse than a flurf with his logic, because flurf's logic just make them crazy over the shape of the world. Godless Engineer's logic constantly makes people lose their paycheck for a year and a half and perpetrates lying and accusing people of being criminals. But now, because you made this logical statement, you're a fraud, you're a harassment. Godless Engineer just got harassed again with great logic. The Free Thought Prophet says, wow, so after being dishonest and displaying zero integrity for months, you simply doubled down on it. Well, I can't do that, can I? Or can I do that? Okay. Well done on being consistent. Oh, what about your also false claims about Steve McRae? Those in the skeptical community shouldn't shovel and expect others to buy it. Great logic. Great points. Unfortunately, the Godless Engineer thinks that you're a troll. Harassment. Wait the F up. You and Caitlin have both levied charges against Steve McRae that were patently not true, then didn't back down from them. You are open to being sued for your blatant libel. Do not bow to us. Bow to the effing truth and be people with honor. Own your... Well, they can't be people with honor when they don't have any, but your comment was intelligent. Great logic. Skeptical as hell. Unfortunately, according to Godless Engineer, you're a troll. Harassment. Is this getting boring yet? I don't care. It makes a good point. It might not be the greatest content in the world, but it makes a good point. Then Derek again says, you and your wife are skeptics as much as Trump is a great president. Good effing job. Hope Steve sues you for libel. I'm just going to play the sound effect from now on. So these are all the responses that I can see in regards to Godless Engineer's non-apology and constant additional blame over Steve and anyone with an opinion that doesn't bow down to him and his horrible mistakes. But we still have a great treat ahead for you on Uni News, because Mr. Atheist also made a statement. We've read it, but we didn't go through the comments. So let's see. Wonder what people said to Mr. Atheist. Let's find out. Wait, what the hell is this? I saw that Sophane took this the other day, and I decided to as well. Here's the link if you want to. What the hell is this? Values and results. Economic axis, social. Diplomatic axis, peaceful. Civil axis, liberal. Societal axis, very progressive. Social liberalism. You're a socialist? She's a socialist. Wait a minute. Are you telling me that Godless Engineer and his wife are socialists? Halt the presses. If you're in my live chat, did I get this wrong? Tell me if I'm right or wrong. Let's vote. That's what we need to do. We need to do a uni vote. Now, unfortunately, I cannot find my voting music. I'm going to have to reset up my voting music. That doesn't work. I need my damn game show music, man, if I'm going to do a vote. But, okay. So here we go. I'm going to just play a random song because I don't have my voting music. Wait, is this it? Yes, I found it. Oh my God, I found it that fast. All right, we're going to take a vote. Press 1 in the chat if you think that this means that Godless Engineer and his wife are socialists, and press 2 in the chat if you think I'm wrong. Thank you. Do it now. 1 for socialist, 2 for not. Be honest. That's not what a social liberal is. I'm sorry, but I kind of get a socialist vibe off of him, all right? It's an opinion poll, baby. I know it's not what a social liberal is it? Okay, let's find out. Okay. Social liberal government is expected to address economic and social issues such as poverty, healthcare, and education and climate using government intervention, which also emphasizing the rights and autonomy of the individual. A new liberalism, socialism. By the end of the century, although socialism later became a more important focus for change and reform, some Victorian writers, including Charles Dickens and Thomas Carlyle, became early influencers and critics of social injustice. Oh, it means you're a social justice warrior. I still think that they are. I'm going to go ahead and say they are. Because I'm trolling them, but I don't think they really are. Okay, where were we? Oh, Mr. Atheist. Let's go. All right. Dude, I love this vote song. This voting song is really good. It sounds really 80s or 70s or something. I don't know. So, this is Mr. Atheist's statement. 7 retweets, 262 likes, 59 comments. Now, the entire statement alleges that Steve McRae is the leader of a troll army. You, if you criticized Mr. Atheist or Godless Engineer, are also members of the troll army, and that Mr. Atheist is a victim and Godless Engineer is a victim, not Steve McRae. If Mr. Atheist is correct, we will be able to find lots of trolls in the comments. Now, what is a troll? A troll does not leave logical thoughts. A troll is very mean and nasty and hateful in order to provoke a response from them. Okay, so here we go. Are we going to find a load of trolls that signify a troll army, or is he lying about having a troll army after him? Well, you're going to get to make up your mind in just a minute. Oh, perfect music, Busy. Okay. So then he says, I just remembered the time I did interact. Steve and others were having a stream and were asking for clarification on vMix license, which I did offer him and believe he thanked me for. Huh. Well, that's weird. I don't know what's going on here. I trust Jimmy's judgment, but can anyone give me some context as to what happened? Took a little digging, but here's some context. No need for everyone to get dirt under their nails. What's going on with the breakup of the non-sex show? Oh, I'd love to see. Apparently, Kyle and Steve are parting ways, with Kyle maintaining control of the channel. What started this, and how are Reds, Godless Engineer, and Shannon Q involved? What are your thoughts? Be unbiased. Well, let's see if people are being unbiased, because all of Godless Engineer's fans are going to click this if they don't know what's going on. And a lot of them don't know because they've never talked about it on his channel. Steve confronted Kyle on the issue of him being excluded from shows as a co-host, and generally feeling it being pushed to the background by Kyle and where his money was. That was the biggest reason. Red was scheduled that day to be to debate a flat earther, acted as mediator, also demanded for Steve to co-host the show as he knew about the issue. This is the leaked video. It came down to Kyle wanting to cut out Steve out of their 50-50 partnership and reduce him to an employment status with a very reduced pay on the basis that Kyle would do most of the work after taking work away from him. Great. Okay, good. Instead, Kyle, they were joined by Shannon Q, tried to resolve things very emotionally, but as she argued from the point of view that Kyle could unilaterally decide the course of the show, which led to no one understanding between the two sides. Godless Engineer and his wife were part of the non-sex show, and on the following day, where Kyle addressed the partnering with Steve, you may have watched, but there's the video. The role of GE is unclear at the moment. Him being a part of the show suggests at least a toleration of the stuff. Toleration? Of the stuff that happened. But again, it's not clear how much he knows. It is known, though, that GE and his wife dislike Steve on a personal level. Following this show, Red's Rhetoric had another hangout on his channel with Steve and Dave, where congruencies between Kyle's public statement and the private conversation were discussed. The main point being that Kyle publicly denied having a 50-50 agreement in perpetuity with Steve. Since the video evidence points to Kyle being fraudulent, the fan base is outraged by how Steve and Bullinator were treated. Non-sec video has 300 likes to 940 dislikes and over 1,100 comments condemning what is happening right now. The show also lost over 1,300 subs. Note that I gave you a rundown as objectively as possible to me and encourage you to actually watch the videos. Good point. Great. I'm happy about that. Okay, and I'm not going to read through this whole thing. At least it represents and links to the main video, which is Kyle being recorded, admitting to everything he was doing. Okay, now, we want to see if there are a lot of trolls in the comments like Mr. Atheist alleged, because I think he's slandering Steve in saying that Steve is the leader of a troll army with no evidence whatsoever to that. And he won't find any anyway, because that's not true. The only thing you'll find is Steve telling people not to go troll over the issue. But actually, the comment by Cheshire offers all the context from both sides. Here's a Google link in case you cannot see it. Playlist, non-sec. Sheet 1, Kyle, date, order, the future, non sequitur, career Baptist guy, the very... Okay. Great to see this personal growth, lesson in humility for sure. Both you and Steve have been slinging around your egos. I think it would show great maturity if both of you could apologize to each other for being a bit big-headed. Steve does not owe Mr. Atheist a damn apology, ding-dong. He does. Jimmy owes him an apology. Good Lord. I haven't had discussions on the topic. I'd love to see where I was slinging around my ego. What? Weird, he believed Kyle on all these things without asking for any evidence, but denied all the evidence presented by the other side. What an amazing skeptic. At least now, like the church, you have been dragged kicking and screaming to the truth. Uh-oh, we found a troll. According to Mr. Atheist, this would be a troll. It's not. I guess it could be a lesson that blind faith is always bad, even if your blind faith is on a friend and not on a supernatural entity. Holy shit, of course that's the damn lesson. Isn't that the whole point? I still wish you would apologize to Steve because I feel like keep going on non-sec after everything happened was a statement on itself. That is a great point, but Mr. Atheist is going to consider you a troll. He responds, confidence in a friend is not blind faith. I was wrong, but my confidence was not based on nothing. Yes, it was. It was against a massive amount of evidence that you saw that proved you were wrong. And even in the face of that, you continued to make excuses. That's what makes you a fraud. There was plenty of reason based on precedent to trust Kyle, which unfortunately was wrong. There will be no apology. So if you do follow Godless Engineer and Mr. Atheist after this, you're a ding-dong. Because their content is based on calling out religion and calling out shit that's wrong in the world. These two are scumbags. How can they call anything out? It's not like they were scumbags in the past and now aren't scumbags. They're still scumbags. I hope things work out in the end and this doesn't get worse. Glad it's being resolved at least. It's not resolved when all Mr. Atheist did was lie about Steve, act like he was the victim himself. Mr. Atheist was the victim, and not apologize. It's not resolved in any way. If anything, Steve should call out Mr. Atheist anytime he can. Not really, though. An apology is owed. Of course, I doubt it'll be given. Well, Menendacious C, you're a troll, according to Mr. Atheist now. Utah Outcast. Good way to do it, Jimmy. Major props to you. Who are the Utah Outcasts? Subversus YouTube Entertainment Channel, hailing from Zion, member of the Satanic Temple. Oh, okay. Well, you're a ding-dong, ding-dong. More than fair. Hopefully people will let it rest now. Oh my God, it's fair for Mr. Atheist when Steve told people to not troll him ever, labels him a troll master on top of everything else Mr. Atheist has done. Wow, you are a skeptical individual, aren't you, Laura Lulu? I'm kind of out of the loop with what happened here, but based on what I read, something pretty nasty went down. Yeah, something nasty did go down. Mr. Atheist and Kyle lied about Steve and then tried to cover up the fact that Kyle was stealing the channel and Mr. Atheist helped enable it. I would say that something nasty did happen. I'm sorry you lost friendships. Do feel better. Well, he's not going to consider you a troll. Excellent. I believe this to now officially be a sleeping dog topic and people need to let it lie. Well, Jen, with one N, no, it's not. And people aren't going to let it lie. I can tell you that now. That's my opinion. I think I'll be correct on this. I think that Mr. Atheist and Godless Engineer are going to continue to be criticized, and I don't think it's going to go good. Sadly, it won't, says Pirate Kitty. It's just as it shouldn't until they apologize. They should be called out. So sorry it turned out this way, Jimmy. I always wanted to give Kyle the benefit of the doubt, but ended up blocking him and Steve even before this whole shit show. I'm sorry he betrayed you. I can't imagine how painful that must be. Wishing you peace. Well, you're just a shitty person too, Liz. I think it's fair, Jimmy. I do wish you had distanced yourself from the beginning just to stay out of this kind of issue entirely, but I don't blame you for anything you did with the information you had him with. He's lying to you. You're a sheep that thinks you're a skeptical atheist, but you're just a sheep. You just, instead of following a religion like Christianity or any other religion, you find atheists on the internet and you follow them around like they are your priests in the same manner. You a sheep. I'm sorry you had to be betrayed like this, Jimmy. It must hurt. Make sure you take care of yourself. Oh, yeah, because Jimmy's the victim. Not Steve. Jimmy's the victim. By the way, Jimmy saw the video, Death of the Non Sequitur Show. He heard Kyle admit to stealing the channel. He heard Kyle kick Stephen Bull off and didn't care. He's not a victim. As much as Kyle betrayed your trust, you still hosted him on your channel. An apology to the fans would have been acceptable to help fans who were more betrayed because they financially backed NSS and both of its hosts. Violet, he's going to consider you a troll. Jimmy, you know I have your back. I'm here for you anytime. Well, he's just going to consider you obsessed. Pretty weird coming from somebody who follows this guy around like he's some kind of priest. Weird, right? For what it's worth, I think you handled it properly, and I agree with the conclusions you have reached. Well, he's not going to think that you're a troll, but everyone else is going to think that you're a sheep following a priest. The whole situation sucks. I'm sad you were affected like this. Thank you for choosing to put it out in a statement. Yeah, not F you for freaking lying about Steve and accusing him of things in your statement. No, I think that's fair. Steve does insist in his streams not to go after you or Kyle. Wait, David. David, you better be careful. You're walking a thin line. You're stating logic and things that are true that completely debunk the bullshit he's spitting. I mean, I hate to say it, but he's probably going to label you a troll. Steve does insist in his streams not to go after you or Kyle. Maybe there is evidence to the contrary. Well, there's not, David, because if there was, GE and Mr. Atheist would literally never let it go. Instead of just typing words in the statement, accusing Steve of things, he would have proven it because he's a high IQ skeptic that knows the importance of evidence. That's how you know he's being deceptive. And yet, he retweets people bragging about harassing Casey in order to call into question her talking about being harassed. That's flat earth facepalm worthy right there. That is flat earth facepalm worthy. I'm interested in seeing that. I'll take your word for it, though. So, people can't criticize KC, or else, hell, she's being harassed. I told you guys, when these things happen, it exposes these communities of people. You start to realize what these communities are about. They're donning the fake veil of being a skeptic for some I don't even know why. Oh my God, bruh. Ay. I'm sorry you had to go through this. It sucks to lose a friend, but to lose a friend like this, it's unfair. I think you handled this admirably, and as well you could. Hugs. Sorry to see such a wonderful person be hurt. You know what? You want to know what's weird? I can't find any trolls. And there are barely anyone attacking, there's barely anyone even calling out the hypocrisy. Most of the people are kissing his ass. Even when he's exposed to be the same thing as the religious people that he calls out, which should turn away any real skeptic. What does that say about this whole thing? Years ago, I had a friend that grew up, went to school and college together. I didn't see him for a few years, ended up being in a band with him. All was going great, and then I'm out of the band. Guess who voted me out? I'll shit on his grave. Well, then you shouldn't be following Mr. Atheist. Because he's the guy who helps kick people off of shit. And then helps the other band members steal the money that should be going to that person. I'm sorry for what happened. You handled it with grace, kid. I hope the pain eases soon. Now, do you get why he did this? Do you see why people like Mr. Atheist play the victim? They play the victim because they know it will get their audience to shower them with this shit. They know that their audience follows them illogically and in a religious way. And that's why they manipulate their audience like this with these types of lies. They want this shit from people. They want the admiration. They can't handle the fact that they messed up. They can't handle the fact that he backed the wrong person. He can't handle the fact that him and Kyle got busted for what they were doing. They can't handle it. So instead, he lies to his audience so he can gain all this. Pretty sick, really. I'm so sorry. Being betrayed by a friend sucks. Steve is the one that got betrayed, not Mr. Effin' Atheist. He's probably still talking to Kyle on the phone behind the scenes and doesn't even care. He knew this the whole time. Thank you for finally coming out with a statement on this. Yeah, thank you. Thank you for turning Steve into even more of a victim than he was when Kyle ripped him off. I know, right? I haven't been following the issue, but I honestly hope you know how important you are to so many people. If you ever need somebody to talk to, I am, and many of your followers here and love you. Thanks for everything, Jimmy. That doesn't sound like you're a high IQ skeptic follower of a skeptic. That sounds like something you'd say to your priest. It's so ironic that it's funny. I'm very sorry for your loss. It sucks to lose a friend. They're acting like someone died. No, he didn't lose Kyle. Kyle committed a felony. Regarding the troll army, I think many of the people who were commenting on your shows were honestly worried about your relationship with Kyle. The trolls who deserve to be called out are out of Steve's control. Be careful, Arena. Mr. Atheist is going to consider you a troll in the army. You're now in the troll army, Arena. I don't know what this is about, but it seems like a very adult response. Do adults lie about people who had horrible crimes committed against them and had their livelihoods and paychecks taken from them? I don't think that's adult in my book. I know very little of the drama. Well, that's the problem. If you would learn about it, you'd learn that it's not drama. It involves a crime being committed by Kyle Curtis against Steve and stealing all of Steve's pay. Doesn't sound like drama, does it? I do know that it takes guts to admit wrong in a court of public opinion. Kudos to you, sir. He didn't admit at all to anything. He made excuses and made himself the victim. That's the point, you ding-dong. Not very skeptical, sir. I'm really sorry you lost a friend. I know how that hurts. I wonder if any of these people, after reading this, are tweeting at Steve saying, Steve, I'm sorry. I judged you the wrong way. So, where are all the trolls, Mr. Atheist? I'm not even going to keep reading. It's a waste of time. Where are the trolls? I don't see any trolls. Without any crystal balls, unaffiliated commentary. Let's see what they say. Doctor says, do Steve's response. I don't have Twitter and can't see it. I will, my friend. It's coming up next. Thank you for reminding me. Appreciate you. If I'm not seeing your comments, tag me again, okay? And let me move my chat over. All right, I got your chat right here. So tag me though, because if you don't tag me, I'm not going to see what you say because it'll be red. Oh, it won't be red over here if you tag me. Damn it! Let me grab my other chat because I won't see it if I don't grab the taggable chat. So that chat's built into my streamer, so it doesn't have tagging and stuff like that. Okay, now I've got the chat. If you want to say something to me and have me respond, tag me or super chat me. Okay. All right. Hey, I just said you don't have to super chat me. I'll try to look for the tags, okay? Might be weary of Without a Crystal Ball claiming to have your back, but after she finally retracted her accusations of crimes against Steve when people warned her she was in danger of a defamation suit and he said she was off of his radar, she offered dirt on Kyle. Ooh. Oh, Jimmy. You know I have your back because Jimmy has high subscribers and that's all she cares about. I'm here for you anytime, and then I'll come on your show and you can get me some subs. See how fake people are? Go back and read the one from Coral said MDoc, and Fluffenbaum says he's already blocked pretty much everyone that called him out by this point. His block list must be huge. I didn't even call him out. I just made a video. So he must have saw my video. Oh my God, what did I just do? Shit on a turtle. Here, let me get down. Who am I looking for? Coral. Got it. It's got to be after the cat. Got to be after that. Yeah, we're getting close. We're getting there. I read Zorro. There it is. Oh, so it has to be before here. Okay, so let's find Coral here. I skipped it. All right. I'm getting back to it. Hero West, Robert, Geek Dad, LaFleur, Irina, Sarah, Adam the Green Pumpkin, Amanda, Patron, Kathy, blah, 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 Mick, Usual D, Dilseed, Stuart, Vegan Atheist, Panda Actual, Poetic Hedgehog. If I skip it again, it's after my tweet says Violet. Is okay. I'm horrible at this, by the way. I don't use Twitter much. Holy hell in a handbasket. Wait, here's Violet. Okay. Oh, I replied to his tweet yesterday? Oh, okay. It probably was. Okay, so here is Violet's tweet. Katie Joy. He said Coral, right? Okay. I don't see anybody named Coral. It does suck. Oh, Vegan Atheist? Got it. Got it. Okay. I just saw Vegan Atheist, so... after Violet. It's down here then. And I admit it. It does suck to be betrayed by a friend, and I will give him a little bit of credit in a second, but I'm going to still rail him for what he did. I used to look forward to your videos, but now I don't know if I can trust your judgment, so I tend to skip them. It's not fair to you, but it's true. This is a great learning opportunity to the atheist YouTube community, but if you can find humbleness, the respect will return. Be careful, Coral. I'll call you a troll. All right. Anyway... so we basically went through it all. Oh, I didn't close it, did I? Oh, shit. I keep closing shit I don't need to close. Here it is. And I don't even think Mrs. Engineer is getting any hate. She tweeted it. She retweeted it, but I don't know. No, she put it out. Did Godless Engineer just retweet it, or did he write it? Let me see. No, this is completely different. Okay, completely different. She posted it too. All right. GeoStreamer. Pathetic. Oh, I can actually see this when I retweet shit. All right. Now, Les, I'm with you. How do you feel about unsubbing to somebody over it? I debate it in my head. Oh, man. I don't know. I don't want to tell you what to do in that respect. I don't like telling people to unsub because I feel like it's something they should decide. But if you ask my opinion, outside of being a YouTube creator, I would say I was never subscribed to Mr. Atheist from the beginning. I think I'm subbed to him now because I was going to watch for some of his stuff, and if I found something crazy, I was going to make a response to it in the future. But, you know, being subscribed to somebody, even though it is a level of support due to the fact that the more subs you have, the more people take you seriously, it's just one of those weird things. There's so many different ways to look at it, isn't it? Anyway, so let's go through this. I'm going to go through this really fast, though, just to see if anyone trolled Caitlyn, because we know no one trolled Godless. I didn't even see a troll. I saw people giving their opinion. Maybe there was one person that may have very slightly trolled Godless Engineer. When it came to Mr. Atheist, I always call him Mr. Atheist. Why do I call him that? When it comes to Mr. Atheist, I'm going to call him that forever. Mr. Atheist. When it comes to him, I didn't see any trolls. And now let's see if she has any trolls. Because if Steve was the king of the trolls, there would be trolls all over this. Not people giving a good, honest opinion with good logic. Trolls don't have good logic. Trolls typically are just trying to elicit a response. So, proud of you guys. And I'm sorry. I have an honest question. I mean, no malice. If you lie during a given apology, written or verbal, doesn't neglect the sincerity and intent of that apology. Yes, it does. I've done well to state at the point I'm not sure what has changed to cause the letter. Well, I'll help you out. Kyle lost in court due to not showing up or even getting a lawyer. And the only time somebody would do that is if they stole the money and were trying to, avoid it as long as they could. There you go. Oh, this tweet's not available because it's from somebody you blocked. I bet it's Godless Engineer. I gotta unblock him now. Damn it. I only blocked him because he blocked me. Okay? I thought it was just fair. He blocked me, so I blocked him. I unblocked him. I don't think I can still see his stuff, though. Unless... Where's my other one at? I closed it. Damn it. Here we go. Oh, all the trolls. All right, now we can see everything. Yes, it was him. What? I've done well to stay out of it to the point that I'm not sure what has changed to cause the letter. I've always seen you and GE as uptight folks, so I hope this clears the air. But some people need factions, need us versus them. Nothing you can do about that, so I moved forward. And then he says, working on it? What does that mean? How so? Working on an apology? Come on, GE, do the right thing. Everybody wants him to. See, that's not a troll. The people here just want you to do the right thing because they want to still support you. Damn, sounds like UNIRock gave you good advice yesterday, GE. Come out, be real about everything you did that was fucked up. Apologize to Steve, because regardless if you hate the guy or not, it says nothing about Steve for you to act the way you did. It says everything about you, though. And that's why you needed to apologize to the community that went and saw you on Non Sequitur and said, I'm going to subscribe to that guy. I'm going to support that guy because he's on Non Sec, and Non Sec had him on, which is a pretty good amount of your subscribers. That's why you were losing a bunch when this all happened. You get me? I've only given Godless Engineer good advice. I've only tried to help him, you know? I just can't support this shit. This is why everything's fucked up out there. Everybody on the internet and on Twitter not taking any personal responsibility for the dumb shit they do, trying to always care about their sub numbers and their view numbers instead of caring about, doing what's right. And like I said, back when Steve had the hate mob against him, Godless Engineer and everybody was just railing against Steve. But the minute Steve got all the support because of that video, what did they do? They bail. They run away. That's not anything logical. That's not doing what you should have done here. It's basically just saying, I didn't like Steve, so fuck the guy. Who cares if they steal his money? Who cares what they do to him? But then on your channel and on Twitter, you preach for treating people with equal rights, and you preach for social justice, and you're no example of it. You have no right to make the content about it or to put your opinion out everywhere. So why are you, if not just to gain even more subs or to try to impress even more people? That's my end response. In the end, the first thing I did, and I'm going to go over to D Live in a minute, so if you want to hang out with me, head over there. I'm done with this shit. In the end, I tried to give an honest opinion in the beginning. In the end of everything, I gave you an honest opinion in the beginning. When I said that obviously Kyle had taken the money. It's just easy to see. And I had to ask myself the whole time, if he did take all the money, is there any way to resolve this? And I was shocked when Steve McRae said, if he did take the money, there is a way to solve this. I was knocked off my chair, kind of. I'm like, you got to be kidding me, Steve. This dude took all that cash from you, screwed you over, tried to kick you off the channel, and you're still willing to say that if the dude comes out, tells the truth, admits he took the money, that you'll work with him and you won't take him to court and you won't get him in trouble and you won't do these things? Why? He's not your friend. A friend wouldn't kick you off of your channel. He wouldn't take all that hard work and all that gain, all the subs, all the views you got, and rip it away from you for no reason, no fault of your own. If he was your friend, he wouldn't do it. So why are you being a friend to him by letting him off the hook if he apologizes and just tells the truth? But Steve stood up and said that that's exactly what he would do. And you can bet your ass that if Kyle would have taken him up on it and came out and said, I spent all the money, Steve would have let it go. All this shit from Mr. Atheist and Godless Engineer just shows when they do something out there to criticize somebody else, They're doing it for the views, in my opinion. They're doing it for the look of it. They're doing, oh, hey, it gets you subs if you take the social justice stance, regardless of what you think and the logic behind it. And that's why they do that shit. And personally, I think that's what makes YouTube suck. I think that's what makes shitty content. And my content's not much better, is it? But at least at the end of the day, I can sit here and say, as goofy as I act, I'm being me, and I wouldn't stab Steve in the back like that. I wouldn't refuse an apology if I had gotten pissed off and said, you know, the things that Godless Engineer said about Steve. So that's what I'll say now that it's over, because it's over officially. Court's done. Everything's done. Now we all get to move on. It really would have been nice if we could have moved on knowing that in the end, Godless Engineer stood up and said, you know what? Fuck it all. I'm sorry, Steve. Kyle fucked you over, and Kyle fucked me over, and I let Kyle get in my head, and I made some bad decisions. It would have been nice to be able to move on knowing that Godless Engineer tried. I don't give a fuck about Mr. Atheist. His channel will burn into irrelevancy someday soon, and I can't wait to see that motherfucker light right on fire. I'll be celebrating over here, not on YouTube, but probably on DLive the day it happens. I will be celebrating for that disingenuous, nasty fuck to burn his fucking channel to the ground. I'm UNIRock. I'll see you next time. I'll be on DLive in just a few minutes.
Like tears in rain.
Box below the video. Most importantly, if you'd like to join the discussion, simply view the page you are currently watching. Then click the link in the info box below this video to join the panel and express your views on the nature of Earth. If you join, please don't swear. If you do, you'll be ejected, and if you are, please don't try to rejoin the stream using. Then be sure to subscribe and hit the bell. Then be sure to subscribe and hit the bell. Then be sure to subscribe. Then be sure to subscribe. Then be sure to be watching. PayPal, Patreon, and crypto link. 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 PayPal. Most importantly, if you'd like to join the discussion. Most importantly, if you'd like to with the Flat Earth debate. Super chat that runs alongside each of these shows while they are live. There's also a PayPal, Patreon, and crypto link. Super chat that runs alongside each of these shows while they are live. There's also a PayPal, Patreon, and crypto link. PayPal, Patreon, and crypto link. PayPal, Patreon, and crypto link. PayPal, Patreon, and crypto link in the info box below the video. Most importantly, if you'd like to join the discussion, simply mute the page you are currently watching. PayPal, Patreon, and crypto link in the info box below the video. Most importantly, if you'd like to join the discussion, simply mute the page you are currently watching. Then click the link in the info box below this video